I can see clearly now, round 23 is gone. Do. Good times, good times. 7:23, almost got back to where I was 2 weeks ago. So 7:34 into a 5:19 into 7:23. So an 8:84 for myself, very much under par, and so are a lot of my players, unfortunately. So hopefully it goes the opposite this week and we can have an absolute stormer and make up that couple hundred ranks back like we did the week before. And look, it's definitely a chance. And we've got the GOAT, Adam Dewey, returning a 687k, and he'll be a target for people this week. And I think Latrell Mitchell might be as well. 748k, the big dog. So he's up there with Blake Brayley now as the two most expensive available guys. And are we going to see Cameron Murray very soon? We will find out. Akapi's Paul, 53 in the end. That extra 5 points for him, and I think 4 for Paddy Carrigan. I think dropped me back another 15 ranks or so overnight. But yeah, my three trade-ins, 46 was the highest. Jackson Ford, 21, and Kurt Donahue, a 37. So that beautiful score from Jackson Ford is right up there in the Isaiah Yo boat. Let me tell you that for nothing. So Jackson Ford. Now, when the big fella plays over 50 minutes, let's just go for 50 minutes, eh? Even just this year, just to make it look a bit nicer. These are the scores that he's put up when he's played over 50 minutes. And some of these are less, by the way. 45, 51, 55, 73, 54, 53, 60, 58, 43, 64, 53, and 21 in the week that I buy him. If that's not unluckiness, I am not here. 2024. Second row, he got a 30, a couple of 30s in a second row, a couple of 3 back-to-back 40s. So this year he's been great, and that's why I ended up buying him. The dual position was looking lovely, and I was just happy to get a guy that I thought was going to play every single matchup, and hopefully the 4 matchups that they do have remaining are going to be pretty good in the middle for him. So I'm very much hoping that was an anomaly. And similar with Kurt Donahue, unfortunately, the 60 minutes for him, he was able to get a rest. He did play 80 the week before, so there's that in mind that maybe he's going to play the 70 or something. But with the couple of sin bins, it pushed him out to that lower minute role, and then 64 points on the other side. He was never going to be able to make big tackles. And I'm actually pretty impressed that Isaiah Katoa could get 45 in that clash, and since I've bought him, he's gone down a little bit with 49 and the 45. So yeah, like just those that they couldn't really get too much worse for those players, which means that next week it should be a lot better. That's about as low as Watson can go, almost as low as what Tarpanet can go. Same with Aaron Clark. Crichton 40 has been pretty gross, and the rest of the guys pretty normal. Like Hosking's due for a 40 odd. Turbo 35's fine. Karaz Fermor, those type of guys in the mid 40s. Nafahu White, pretty similar for what we expect from out of him. So really, apart from the highly owned guys in Tedesco, Campbell, Cleary, Payne Haas, there was a few of my players that were that little bit lower owned that pushed me down, which is fine because the next few weeks it should improve from there. The guy I turned out to be most impressed with this week was actually Nico Hines. The 56 out of him was great. For how bad the week was for myself, he did really stand up and did his job. So I was happy with that. Now, heading into this week for my squad, we've got the 2 Raiders guys out of business. How good's King Tonga? He's probably going to get a full start a full send and full start in my side this week. So let's move Taps out now to get things flowing in the right direction and get Terrell May back in action. Payne Haas, is he going to be the skipper this week? I think they've got a pretty nice matchup for him, I think, is against the Finns there. It really just depends which team kind of turns up for the Finnies in that one. Now, for the rest of the squad, if we were to leave it as is right now, Turbo in the side, I think is pretty solid. I think we'll be doing some looping with Garrick. We've got King Tonga in that second game, so I think he will set up. Who have I got out? I've got the edge and I've got the mid. So King Tonga is going to have to be in that 5 position, given he's going to play the second game of the weekend. And I've got my Panthers and Storm. Of course, the Thursday night clash. No Stormers in this one. Now, my big question this week is going to be do I purchase anyone new? And with 3K in the bank, the sell would be a Hosking or a Tarpanay, a $644,000 dues. We have Cam McInnes, Tom Flegler, poor fella. Poor fella. I can get JJ again. 70 minutes. It's not a heap. Not a heap, is there? Can't get Munster anymore. Keeney might be back this week. That'd be pretty fun. So it's not a heap of excitement down there. We've got Hopgood and Sammy Walker. I mentioned him as a really fun play. Picked up a 69. Nice. And yeah, a few other fun little picks like Gagai and stuff like that. So it's not like clear trade-ins. And with the squad they're sitting as is, it's pretty nice. You know, you've got two guys out and then the other two in like a King Tonga and Garrick. Like I could be comfortable playing at least one or maybe two of those guys. So I will loop early, and Jackson Ford will be the second guy to do some looping with. So we'll move him down there into number 6. So he's got the mid and the edge dual. So if you look at my bench right now, I could muck around. So Hosking and Tarpanay, he can slot into either one of those positions. And the easiest way to work this one out would be with edge. Would that be correct? Yeah, edge could be the play. So let's just work it out in live time, hey? So if we are happy with Ford, then we could just leave as is. The reason we do this, guys, is that if we're happy with both King Tonga and Ford, then great. I can just put Taps and Hosking in 3 and 4 and just make it really simple, right? But if I don't like King Tonga and I want Ford on the side, I very much hope that Ford goes well this week. If he gets 21 again, that would be one of the more unlucky trade-ins you'll see. That wasn't an injury. That was just performance-based. So in this one, if we didn't like King Tonga, we wanted Ford in the side. We could leave Nafahu White out, but let's just say we want him to play. How that one would then work is then you'd have to move him into the mid section there. So let's just say Connor Watson comes out, and then if I didn't like Ruben Garrick, I just wanted to leave him out, then Watson would just move him up into that position. And the main reason we do that, guys, is it's going to be very hard to loop in Garrick this week, given he plays the second to last game. So that there is how that would look with my side. And we will have to work out with 3 trades to go, is it worth trading this week or potentially the following one when I've just got a Nico Hines out and probably an injury, right? We didn't get one this week, but we may do in the following. Now, my most exciting part of every week is going in the rankings and checking that Andrew is still kicking up top. And he sure is, our private group leader, sitting there in first. And then, unfortunately, Jakey Boy lost an extra point and stayed in fourth, with Cooper sticking in third there with a 9.31 to Jake's 9.38. So he almost caught him, which was good stuff there. But Andrew's sitting there with a lovely 124-point lead, and he's almost back from his trip, which he's managed to stay in the lead on the trip, so maybe he just stays away. It's funny because on my Europe trip, that's when I was actually making really, really good headway, which was good. So yeah, Andrew in first, Daniel in there in second, and there's a few things to think about and look at really in this top 10. And the easiest way to check that is on the YAF's website. So a 9.43 was the average, and I picked up an 8.84. Not beautiful at all there in that one. So the total trades, 2 points. Mr. Andrew used 2 this week. We've got second place Daniel there in with 0 trades. Unfortunately, rank 5, rank 7, rank 12 all have 1 trade. We've got 6th and 9th, both with 2. Jakey Boy in 4th has 3, which is good news there. 10th has 3 as well. 14th has 3, and 15th. And then we've got rank 8 sitting there with 4. And then we got Cooper in 3rd with 6 trades remaining, who did use 3. So it's going to be a really, really fun finish to this year, and I cannot wait to see how it all pans out. And just had a quick chat with Jake before, and he was like, he reckons that the only position he can get to is second. And I really hope it doesn't work out this way for Andrew, but we've seen the last few years, the lead has been vanquished in a week or two. Like if just you have a bit of unluckiness or injuries and things like that, and 100 or 200 points can be caught up in a couple of weeks. So It's a great lead right now at 124 over Daniel, who doesn't have any trades, so maybe he's less of a risk than someone like Cooper in 6 trades or Jake with 3. But they are over, or close to, just under 200 points behind, with pretty similar team value Cooper has. So very, very interesting setup there. I'm very much officially out of the race, sitting not crazy behind, to be fair. Less than 800 points behind. It's a lot of points, but yeah, that's what I've been talking about. Sort of the top 300, top 250 as kind of my range to have a good look at. Now, a big congratulations to Jacob, who ended up winning the private head-to-head. Good stuff to him. And then Jimmy in head-to-head 10 and number 11 we got wrong in setting it up, so it's not finished yet. But yeah, Jacob gets a nice $100 in the private group for winning that head-to-head comp, and same with Jimmy in his. And go into a knockout competition, which is just all different competitions we have as part of the private crew, guys. Speaking of those legends, we've got Tyson sitting there in 10th, which is awesome. And then Harry in 14th and Nigel in 16th, with John not too far behind in 37th. So yeah, the crew's still sticking up there, doing some good work. And just a scroll shout out to those guys there in that top 20. Moving down the list there, I lost my Gargarov Cup matchup, so congratulations to the guys in that one. Unfortunately, I am not good enough, and I'll say that publicly. Podcasters, unfortunately, I moved down to 6, which wasn't fun, but yeah, most of the guys here had a really solid week, especially ahead of me, all well into the 900s, with Jordan, who pushed himself into 9th spot with a 993. Very, very impressive. Austin sitting there in second at 263, so a good, reasonable, solid score for him, keeping up in that top 300 with Nick in the same position there. Jake and Terrence, I've got to catch. They're going to be they're still going to be difficult, but they're going to be easier to catch, given Jake in 500th is 60 points exactly ahead. So that's the top 500. I've got to make up 60 points, and hopefully that can happen this week. You can see here the team values are on the way down for a lot of us, unfortunately, with how things have panned out and how things have worked out, unfortunately. So that's the podcasters section there. We've got a few of the guys on the improve. Mitchy in there, you'll get his video tomorrow, 2099. But yeah, solid score from Marky Boy. He's improving. Scoop with a good one after last week's slower effort there. And then Nicky's 932, which we spoke about the other day. So that's sort of the top half of the podcasters that are in a really solid position there in that one. So that's kind of the majority of what I wanted to speak about. I absolutely should not be in charge of the private group team anymore. I was looping Teddy because we could, and then didn't. I was out down at my parents' place, and I just accessed it on the computer and didn't go back in and check it. So Teddy did not make the squad. So yeah, the poor team would have had a pretty good week and unfortunately lost some ranks. So that was my fault completely. And we also traded in Dane Gagai, so not super exciting there with his 20 odd. But that's sort of the big news from my setup and my sides. Like the squads are down to the top 1,000 down to 2.2 trades, and yeah, there's bits and pieces that squads can do. Like there's the odd point of difference play like Latrell. Kaipi's Paul I really liked coming into this week. He's at 716 and a really a high price, but a reasonable price there. We're going to wait to see what's happening with Isaiah Yeo. I saw that only 170, I believe, in the top 1,000 traded him out. And you do have a few of those guys like Grant, like Carrigan, that all have a really good opportunity to keep doing well. And Carrigan at a nice price. Same with Preston and Munster are there for you guys to go in and climb in and get good scores out of those players there. So I'll leave the decision from my side open to what I need to do with any looping, and if things go really poorly, then we can make a move, or we just utilize their potential for trades in like around 25 or 26 when things start to go awry, and then we've got restings in last round and whatever else there. So we'll leave this round results to that one, guys, and get ready for Mitch's rant with his Siwa Wong and Britton Nickera situation. He, of course, the only two guys that copped any issues this weekend were in his side, and that's, again, shows where some of the unluckiness can come from. And if you're in that similar boat, it will turn around next year. And I mentioned in the last video with Nikki that I will be going through and doing NBL Supercoach content as well as BBL Supercoach. So stick around for that, guys. And yeah, we're going to have a fun full year. That's the go here with JB Fantasy. that will, we've got enough sports to get you through the entire year for us, for sports nuts and degenerates, and we'll go from there. So thanks for joining, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evenings and enjoy this round results video. See you later.